I'm Todd Bass, and this is Gambler's Hub with Joel.
Hey.
Mark.
How's it going?
Okay, so let's recap last week's pick. Basically, what we're trying to do is give you information so that you can make more money in sports gambling. We've done it a long time. We've proven we're at about a 68.9% rate of winning.
Give or take.
Give or take. And so take what you can from us, because we will make you money. If you like what we say on one thing, take it. If you don't take it. But as you watch us, you'll see that we are right most of the time. Let's recap, Mark, last week's picks.
All right, Todd, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. So looking back at last week, we had Todd coming in on the under for Air Force versus Army, and that was a win for him. Also coming in with Iowa on the under over New Mexico, and that was another win for Todd. Moving over to the NFL, we went with Todd took Cleveland over Arizona, and obviously Cleveland walked away with that one. And unfortunately, his pick was Miami over KC on neutral ground there in Germany, and KC stormed ahead on that one. Moving over to Joel. Joel actually took the Air Force over for Air Force, and
because Air Force put up 3 points.
Yeah,
that is not how we expected that to go down. We expected a low-scoring game, but from Army, I mean, hey, a win's a win. I can't.
The Magic Man delivers.
That's right. So, and then also looking at LSU over Bama. Joel took LSU over Bama, and unfortunately, Bama actually showed up and closed that one out. So
Saturday was rough.
But on NFL,
bounce back
big time. So took Cleveland there. Cleveland over Arizona, got the win there. And then KC over Miami again in Germany on the anyone knows what'll happen game. So looking like 3-1 for Todd here, and 2-2 for Joel. So shoot it back over to you there, Todd.
Okay, so the first game this week in college football is an interesting one, and I'm going to explain the concept of how my development of my pick is. Number 24, James Madison, has never been in the top 25 that I can remember. Anomalies, little things that don't exactly make sense. I would have never thought that James Madison would be playing this good. When a good team, in my opinion, at this point in the season has a number such as minus 24.5, and they're at home, and they're playing Connecticut, they are going to stomp on Connecticut in a big way, because this situation has not happened before. They've never been in a position where they're in the top 25 and they've got a big fat number of minus 24.5. Take minus 24.5 and watch yourself win. Joel, what do you think of my concept there?
It's a good concept. I mean, they're 9-0. UConn 1-8.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing. They did beat Rice, so good for them. You're not concerned that James Madison doesn't really blow people out.
And here's what's the interesting part, is it's the anomaly of that I am saying that with looking at the fact of all their games before, they haven't been put in this specific situation.
Okay.
If someone was to really gamble, and back in the day when I was like 21 and I started sports gambling with the bookie, you could never make a bet like this. But FanDuel and DraftKings, they all offer up where you can say, okay, instead of minus 24.5, how about minus 30?
Alternate spreads, yeah.
Exactly. On an alternate spread, in my opinion, I think that they're going to beat them by 28. So I actually am going to go out on a limb and say, forget the minus 24.5. I'm going to say conservative bettors, which I recommend, bet it, minus 24.5. But I personally am going to take it at like 28.5, 29.5, something like that. I'll decide Saturday morning after I look. But take the standard bet of James Madison, minus 24.5 this Saturday. I love it. Love
You're
it.
saying Madison's in a position they've never been in. They're under the big bright lights, and they're going to run away with it.
Exactly, because of the psychological
Yeah.
momentum and the fact that you're looking. I like to look at the number and then the team.
Right.
And then understand, is this a little bit different?
Okay. So you think there's a little magic here, along with that?
Lights won't be too bright.
What?
The lights won't be too bright for those kids.
What do
You know,
you-
probably first time on probably national television, ranked.
Yeah,
it
that's
might
what
be
I'm
a
thinking.
little jitters in the first half, making it a close game.
So what is your pick?
I
Or
mean,
you're not touching
I
it?
think I'm not going to touch it. I mean, I'm leaning towards UConn, but that might just me being a jerk and just going against you for no reason. So I might just stay away from that. Maybe parlay that one and a bunch of other big favorites with like just money line situation to like get
So
even money.
on Saturday when you're checking out the scores and you see
Oh,
this incredible
When
victory.
I see James Madison 59-3 or something like that, I will be sure to give you
Yeah.
your due credit
You
next
give me a
week.
call
That's right.
and,
Of course.
and give me my props. Thank
But,
you.
but that's why I think I'm just gonna not touch this one.
Now
I
here's-
see your point. I see your point.
So, what is your thought on this game? Oklahoma State at UCF, and Oklahoma State is -2.5.
My thoughts. Okay, so before the season, I liked Oklahoma State. I looked at them, and they were one of my over/under for the season win totals, which has already paid out. It was 6.5. They were 7-2. They were ranked in the top 15. I'm an Oklahoma State fan. I think this line is so little that it's suspicious. UCF is. I mean, they're not that good. But my only concern is that Oklahoma State just had the biggest win maybe ever against Oklahoma.
And so I want your thought on that. So last week, I did not make this pick, but Saturday morning last week, I looked, and I ended up using Oklahoma State to actually make me some extra money.
Awesome.
So the question is, what about this week?
Are they going to fall flat? Are they riding too high and they're going to come out flat?
What is
after
your
last
thought
week.
on that?
I think they do come out flat, but I think they're just that much better. That 2.5 points. If it was 12.5
Would you
points,
rather money line it, or is the 2.5 points?
2.5, I'm not too worried about. I think they win it in the end. I'm just a little bit worried, and I think they will come out, and it won't be as close as it'll be close at the beginning, and then they'll figure it out at halftime and run away with it. I take Oklahoma State.
So
I
both
like
of us are
Oklahoma.
taking Oklahoma State.
I am. I'm just trying to throw that one out there as a reason for concern. Because, the last Red River rivalry game went in their favor. They could not be riding any higher right now.
Okay, so let's talk about Pitt at Syracuse.
Now, both of those teams are not good, so you must be looking at the over-under.
I am looking at the over/under, and my pick on this game is I'm going to take the 37.5 total. I'm going to joink it with 2.5 points to 39.
That's 1.5 points.
What?
That's
Oh,
1.5
good.
points.
There you go. Well, I guess I'll tell you, those caviar joints, seriously, I really got spaced last night. Okay, so, 37, put it to
40?
put it to 40, take the under, I love it. I don't love it because what I'd like it, it's a game to play with other games in a parlay. It's not my favorite, but I like it.
I completely agree with you. Syracuse and Pittsburgh, both of their offenses look terrible. Yeah, Pittsburgh 7.7 points the last 2 weeks, 10 points for Syracuse. This could easily be a 17-10 game and come well in the under.
Now, I will tell you a game that I truly love. And again, it comes to a major anomaly. This anomaly is the total on the Rutgers at Iowa game. I have looked at these totals for many years, and it's very strange that some of these teams are coming up with these very defensive situations. I love at 28.5. I don't know till game day, but I'm gonna buy some points and play it in a parlay. But I love the fact that Rutgers at Iowa is at a 28.5 total. I love the under in this game, but I'm gonna buy some points.
Okay, that's cool. And actually, I was looking at that just before I came here, and I think it just went down to 828 even. So I think.
I love that too. But okay, so in the old days when there was no
Let me just double check.
FanDuel and DraftKings and all.
Nope, 28.5. I apologize.
Okay. we used to look at line moves, but I want to take this as a subject that I think is interesting. Before there was DraftKings and FanDuel, and it was just Costa Rica and offshore and bookies, the line moves were very interesting because big whales, big players with big money, they would throw it down, and they would throw so much money down because they were on inside that the line would move just because of one or two people in a group of whales. And now, here's what's interesting. Line movement, I don't believe, is adjusted by whales because of so much activity with legalized gambling.
Yes.
So you could have dumb money moving the number. So what I'm trying to say is my tip of the day is do not believe in line movement adjusting your bets. And what is your thought on that? Have you ever...
I haven't tracked it as closely as you clearly have, but I think when it does trend in one direction, I mean, it's going there for a reason. I'd follow that money towards, if it's going down, go under.
So you don't think dumb money could move it?
I don't. I think there's so much money out there now, like $20
So
here,
you think the
$50
whales
there.
are moving it?
Not a whole lot. I think it's the public is moving it because it's all over the place, and all these different sites are having to keep up, so they can't just offer.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let me ask you. So what I'm trying to get at, because I'm interested in understanding the sociological reality of this, is you think that it's smarter money than dumber money? Like, you don't think that... So you think that the majority of the bettors really know what they're doing?
I don't, but I think that they're following it. You ask a good question. I kind of cornered myself there on that.
Well, you think from a business model, like if these sites, they certainly want you to win to some degree to keep coming back, so they're gonna give you opportunities to, okay, if you get in on this game, you're gonna get X and X and X
Right.
of bonus money.
Oh.
That's because they know that they have a good chance, or you have a good chance of winning, and you'll come back.
Okay.
And that kind of then leads into maybe the trap potentially, or
This reminds me,
bit of a tangent.
because I forgot to ask you this question. Remember you asked me, am I getting all my bonuses because that's a good thing?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So finally I realized what was going on with this. But here's the problem. Aren't they all three-team parlays?
Usually, but if you look at it closely, sometimes they don't require you
Okay.
to go to like a plus 400, and you could just do money line and then get that little extra bonus. So if you do a 3-team parlay,
using fat money lines.
yeah,
Because it's when you're not using fat money lines on a 3-teamer. Let's say you're taking the straight number. Let's say that the Denver Broncos are -7, Pittsburgh's -7, and New England's +7. If you were to take that as an example, hitting it without playing with the numbers themselves and taking the exact spread that they put out, it is very hard to hit a 3-teamer.
agreed.
Mathematically.
Oh yeah.
And this is a second tip of the day. It is hard. And let alone a 4-teamer. What you hit one the last week
Yeah.
before last.
It happens.
It does happen, but understand that I'm a tighter player than Joel, and you can take what you want from this. But my tightness makes conservative good money all the time. But Joel has those big giant days more often than I do. Okay.
I love those big giant days.
Well, yeah.
So
that's
I'm
the fun
gonna
when
say
that-
what you want.
When you see that big green number there at
Yeah.
the bottom with the little trophy, it just gives me that little warm feeling in my heart.
That's right.
So we both love. So you're on the Rutgers at Iowa under.
Yeah, I think it could be a 3 to 6 game.
Okay, love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so now this game I want you to tell what you think here. Miami at Florida State, huge rivalry game. I remember back in the day, this was just such a fun game when Miami and Florida State were great. Now, Florida State, what are they ranked, Joel?
4.
They're ranked number 4?
They're ranked number 4.
Okay, I'd like to hear your thoughts.
I think Florida State demolishes them. Just like absolutely, thoroughly dismantles them in every single way.
And now, do you want to say why? Because
I do want to say why, because they are afraid that they will go undefeated and still not make the 4-team playoff because the ACC is weak, and so they need every statement game possible and a rivalry game against Miami they need a big win. They need big wins because I could absolutely see a one-loss Ohio State, a one-loss Michigan, a one-loss Oregon jumping ahead of them into that 4-team playoff because Florida State's strength of schedule is not as high as theirs.
That is some good information. Now you take with what Joel says, and think about this, whoever is watching this. Florida State has not been number 4 in forever. It's been
it's been a long time.
Years and years and years. They're in a position that they are so happy to be in, playing the most hated team that they could think of, right?
Yeah.
There's no team that Florida State would want to beat more than Miami.
I don't even think Florida. Yeah.
Okay. So you take them in this position at this time of the season, you add what Joel said to the whole thing. I love it. I love this game. Florida State minus 13.5.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's one of my picks.
Yeah, we both love it.
Teaser for the end. That's one of my picks for the week for sure.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You said last time FSU was ranked number 4 was in 2005.
That's
Something
heavy.
like that. So,
That's heavy. So our next game, do you have an opinion on number 1 Georgia? Personally, I don't like them because the way I see it, do you see it this way, Joel, that they just don't like to cover? Now they covered last. Did they cover?
That's a good question.
I don't know if they covered or not, but I know they. I don't even watch them anymore because they just don't like to cover. But what is your thought on Mississippi number 9 at Georgia number 1? Georgia minus 10.5. Do you think that Mississippi can actually step up?
Maybe. I think Georgia is kind of ramping themselves up. Like they kind of.
Yeah, I think that they do it at the end of the season.
They
maybe.
won back-to-backs. They have this loaded team, which could probably finish 3rd in the the AFC South and the in
Maybe
the
we don't touch this game.
I think I'm not going to touch this game.
I'm
I
not
like
either.
Georgia. I think they win the national championship just because they're complete.
Okay.
But when it comes to covering, I don't know.
My last college pick is so old.
Georgia did not cover last week, by the way.
Yeah, Georgia doesn't cover, but I could see. Yeah. I'm not touching Georgia. Joel's not touching Georgia. This game is an old school trick. This is an old school trick. And tell me if you've ever heard this. This is a crazy one. New Mexico at Boise State. Boise State minus 28.5. Now, ask me, Joel, why I like Boise State in this position.
Todd, why would you like Boise State in this situation?
Because of the blue field.
That stupid effing blue field. God, I hate that blue field.
Majestic.
You take the blue field with a big number like minus 28. I'm going to put them down to minus 27.5. And I like Boise State.
Now, just out of curiosity, if they were playing on a green field, what number would you
No,
feel
if they were
comfortable with?
if they were playing away, I wouldn't touch the game.
But blue
But
field,
because the blue
28.5?
field, yes.
All right.
It's the circus feel
And
effect.
what is your thought? Do you have an opinion
I
on
have
that
no,
game?
I have no opinion. I roll with Todd and the blue field factor. Go
Okay.
Boise State Broncos.
Okay. Let's go to NFL.
Please, I like NFL.
Okay. So I'll let you start.
All right, my favorite pick, I think, is we're going to go to Europe again, just like you went last week.
Okay, we're doing NFL, so.
We are doing NFL.
Yep.
Yes, we're going to Europe and the Colts versus the Patriots.
Okay.
God, I hate the Patriots. They're so bad. I almost feel like they're tanking this year.
Yeah.
Well,
And
they are. And they're talking about getting rid of the coach.
Yeah, with Belichick, do a whole
Interesting.
new regime thing. I mean, it's only a 1.5 for Indianapolis. They don't have Richardson anymore, but Minshaw's been just fine.
Yeah.
I mean, they beat Carolina by 2 touchdowns last week.
Colts will play good.
I like the Colts. I mean,
Okay.
take the 1.5. Don't have to worry about the money line. I like the Colts.
Now I'm
Yeah.
going to show you a game
100%.
that again, anomalies. Things that look a little bit different. And New York Giants, one of the worst teams in football, at Dallas, minus 16.5. I understand. People want to take the points, and Dallas minus 16.5 has one bet. Buy a few points. Dallas minus 13.5 is another bet. Buying some points. You could play it safe on a parlay and bring the 16.5 down, like I just said, to maybe 13.5 or so. But this is a statement game for Dallas, playing a Giants team that just is garbage. Are they just not buying the right
Well, they're
players?
beyond garbage at this point. I think the Giants are.
I mean, and,
So
and,
I
and
like
Daniel
Dallas.
Jones tore his ACL, so now they're starting it literally an undrafted
DeVito.
rookie.
Yeah.
Which is a nice story, but that poor guy is going to get destroyed by Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
Do you think Dallas could actually throw? I actually see a blowout game.
I could see this being, even if it's not a blowout game, I see New York's offense being so poor that even if they just put up 3 touchdowns, I mean, that's a 20-point cover, easy. So I think you're right to that extent, and Dallas is probably a good pick. Money line, buy some points, or even as is.
Yeah, the as is. On this one, I get a feeling. And what did Dallas do last week? Can you look?
They lost to Philly at the
And that's part of
the goal
it.
line.
Yeah.
And that's
I had to go
and,
literally.
and that's part of the reason that I love this game is that
Well-
the loss to probably a Super Bowl team.
Yeah, one of the 3
You know,
teams that could possibly.
and they
make it
still
from the
played.
NFC.
I can't remember. I think I was drinking a few too many beers. What was the actual final score of that?
Eagles by 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so
33
Dallas
something,
played up.
30, yeah.
I mean, Dallas didn't
Yeah, they
let them
showed up.
slaughter them.
No, that was exactly right. They are 5
I-
points worse than Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And what
I
was the
think.
spread on that?
3. So Philly
Okay.
covered.
What's your thought on Houston at Cincy?
That's a good question. Because Houston looked dynamite last week with
Stroud,
Stroud.
470 yards, 5 touchdowns.
You just make your
The
fantasy
guys
team
are-
around the Texans.
Yeah, the guy was lights out. That's hard to.
I mean, but the Bengals, I mean, they just beat San Francisco in San Francisco
Yeah.
and Buffalo.
And they're making that move.
They're making the move back into Super Bowl contender mode.
Towards the end of this, towards the later part of the season.
These are the games they can't lose.
Yeah.
I'm thinking on a parlay, take Cincy money line as opposed to -6,
Yeah.
I agree.
and you just money line them
Yeah. Or
and
you
say
buy a few.
Cincy's going to win.
I could see Texas. I mean, with Stroud. I mean,
Yeah.
The,
Well,
big,
and-
the big spread with a good passing team like that. Sorry to interrupt you,
No,
but
you're good,
is
but-
always you're always worried about that backdoor cover.
Yeah.
Where since he's winning by 13 points in the game's in hand, but then Stroud just marches it down the field with 2
Garbage
minutes to go
points,
and gets a
who knows
touchdown
what,
with the stats, and they cover backdoor. So the money line, I think, is a very safe bet.
Oh, by the way, I do want to say we have a sponsor for this show,
Hey.
our second podcast. That is, if ever you want the craziest party, go to denverthemeparties.com and throw a theme party in a 12,000 square foot arcade that has over 150 games. You gotta love it. denverthemeparties.com. Make it happen. It's really cool. Okay, so Cleveland so we're both taking Cincy money line.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. So Cleveland at Baltimore. Now I loved Cleveland last week, but this is to show you I loved Cleveland last week. I like Baltimore this week.
Baltimore looks legit.
Yeah.
They look legit, but Cleveland has been a dog for a long time. Though I don't think they have the barking dogs in the audience anymore. But
Shame.
I like Baltimore money line. I could see Baltimore money line, Cincy money line, boom, parlay.
That's cool. I mean, the Browns. I mean, it's a rivalry game. It's an in division 6.5 points. That seems
Yeah.
too much, and I think this is a coin flip game, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, Cincinnati or Cleveland. I mean, that's a tough division, man.
Would you take that parlay?
I don't know.
Money lining them?
I think I might stay away from that game altogether.
Baltimore.
The Baltimore game.
Yeah.
You don't think that. So you think that Cleveland could just.
They've got a puncher's chance, and I don't
Well,
want to take. I mean,
I hear you.
obviously, I'm
I
not
hear
gonna
what
do
you're saying.
100%.
I could change my mind, but right now I'm going to go straight up and say that I like Baltimore to outright win the game. I like Cincy to win the game. That's what's tough about parlays,
Yeah.
But that's where I'm going with that. Now, I think we've covered. Did you have any other NFL games that you wanted to talk about?
Nah, I'll touch on a couple little things at the end here.
Okay, so let's hear Mark. Mark's our fantasy football guy. What do you have to tell the people in fantasy football this week?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I think if Go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just going to say
Oh.
to all the viewers, like, fantasy football, if you're not a fantasy football guy, you're just a gambling guy. This same information that he's about to throw at you, amazing for same-game parlays.
Absolutely.
Amazing for side bets, all stuff like that.
Yes.
Just use this information and then pick and choose. You can stack his stuff. You can stack some of his stuff. I mean, it's
And
it's
if
all,
you're
it's
anything
all
like
good.
me, I'm not quite as in tune with the gambling piece of it as much as these gentlemen are, and that's what's nice. I know the fantasy side, so to try to see how I can incorporate the two of them and make a little bit more money. I mean, shoot. All right, so yeah, if you don't already know, you're about to find out. Big names out this week, a lot of bye weeks. You got Tua, Hurts, Mahomes, all out, Stafford, Kelsey, Pacheco, Smith, Swift, Mostert, Kupp, Nakua. Tons and tons of guys out this week on buys. So as far as your waiver wires, you're going to have to get pretty deep. If by week 10 you don't already have those backups in place, you might be in some trouble. A couple of big names. Specifically, I wanted to talk quarterbacks this week because, again, Mahomes out, Hurts out, some big name guys out. I have seen in about 26% of the leagues that Kyler Murray is actually available. So if you haven't, take a quick look, see if Kyler Murray might not be sitting out there. A lot of people dumped him when he got hurt. He is coming back, and he's your number one start of the week off of the waiver wire if he's available. Also, Trevor Lawrence, obviously big. Only problem with Trevor Lawrence, his floor pretty low, but he's got every bit of potential to have another huge week.
San Francisco defense is tough.
Yeah. San Fran's defense is playing tough, but let me see. I think I had, what was it? I think either way, it's going to be a high-scoring game. Also, so along with Kyler Murray, Trevor Lawrence, obviously, Stroud, big game last week. If he's available, I can't imagine he is now, but if he is, take a look at him and Heineken.
For Falcons, right?
Yep, for the Falcons, been getting better and better. So, again, just a few names, some quarterbacks you might want to take a look at. Moving on to some wide receivers. Possibility of Woods coming back this week. Also, Zay Jones looking to return. Let's see, was it 61% of the leagues? Odell Beckham Jr. still available? After last week, Zay Flowers kind of taking a little bit of a hit, losing some receptions to OBJ. I like OBJ as maybe a flex or a wide receiver 3, depending on how your league is set up. Look for OBJ to have a big week. Just my opinion on that. And I think that's about it. Like I said, quarterbacks are going to be tricky this week with so many names gone. So
Cool.
Nice.
yeah.
That's some great added value that, as Joel said, you can take for fantasy, or you can use information from Mark's ideas to make some money on sports gambling. What is...
One more thing. Sorry, just before I forget. If you're fantasy football and you don't have Taysom Hill, go get Taysom Hill. Go get Taysom Hill.
You heard what he said.
Last 4 weeks in a row, 12 points, 16 points, 23 points, 21 points. Taysom Hill is a top 10 tight end / running back / wide receiver / quarterback. Go get Taysom Hill.
I was about to ask that. Does he qualify for quarterback?
I think
all those
those
boxes.
I think he only flies as a tight end. I think he's officially
Really?
listed as tight end.
All right.
Yeah, I think they should give him all 4.
I think so
guys,
too.
he's-
Right? Just fit him in
he's-
wherever.
Also, one of the only, I can't remember when the last time it happened. He's got a rushing touchdown, a passing touchdown, receiving touchdown, all in one season. So go get Taysom Hill just because you're going to need him. Bye week next week, and then opens up. So that's all.
So what do you guys think of the Colorado Avalanche as coming back and doing it all over again?
Yeah, I think this year they have a better chance than repeating last year because all that chaos that was going on, the injuries is gone. That's a good bet. That's a good value. I think it's about plus 800 to win the cup.
Do you like when they're playing at home? For example, tonight, we produce this podcast on Thursdays and it shows on late Fridays. Is
Friday,
that right?
4 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, so
7
tonight,
p.m.
for example, there's a game, Avalanche at home, minus 230. I forgot who they're playing against.
Tonight,
The Kraken.
yeah.
Right. What is your thought? Do you like? knowing the Avalanche is strong, knowing that most likely you look at the long game and you say, okay, Avalanche are going to probably repeat or at least come close. Do you think that for people that are using parlays that it's logical to just throw a -230 Colorado Avalanche into a parlay?
Sure wouldn't hurt. I think so. Yeah. I mean, I like those -2 to 300s in hockey, especially when they're at home.
Yeah.
And if you can find the other team that's coming off of a back-to-back, that's an even better situation.
Okay, so we're coming to the end of the podcast. My pick, my number one, Diamond Gold 5-star pick, and I love this pick, is taking Rutgers at Iowa, under 28.5 for you gamblers. But if you want to play it safe, add a few points to it. But it's going to be a very low-scoring game. And low-scoring games to most people are boring. And most people want to take the over. And that is why it's going to go under. I take the under, 28.5, buying a few points on that game. Rutgers at Iowa. That's my number one game.
Okay.
Let's hear your number one.
My number one game, we already talked about it. It's that Florida State game. Like, take that 13.5. I like Florida State.
And that's my number two game.
Oh, okay.
And me and Joel are on that Florida State bandwagon. Okay? We don't have the head to put on of their mascot, but we are Florida State this week.
I think that's trademarked anyway.
And what is your next?
My next pick, I'm gonna do two. So I like the Chargers and the Lions to go over 48.5. That is going to be a aerial assault between Herbert and Goff. I mean, they're going to each put up 28 at least each, and it's only at 48.5. If you want to buy a couple of points to feel better about yourself, that's cool, but there's no way they're not going to combine for 7 touchdowns combined.
So let's hear that pick one more time.
Lions, Chargers, over 48.5. That's two.
I like it. I'm not using that as one of my top picks. I have one last pick as my top pick, but that's Joel's. Okay. My big NFL pick, my third pick of all the picks I picked is New York Giants at Dallas. Dallas -16.5 on one play, and then buying a few points to take it to 13.5 on another play.
All right, I'm going to cheat on my third pick. I'm going to totally cheat. We're going to do a 3 parlay, but it's going to be super safe. You're going to love it. We're going to take Dallas down to 9.5 points, and we're going to take money line on the Bills against the Broncos and money line Bengals against the Texans. That equals out to be just over even money, and that is 100% going to hit.
See, now that is a scientific pick. That is not an old school gambler's pick. That is a younger generation.
I was gonna say I got Broncos over Bills 2017.
I'm gonna place that bet right now.
You heard it here.
What?
Broncos over Bills 2017. You heard it here.
I'll take that bet.
Are you joking?
No.
Broncos
Are gonna
over
go
Bills.
into
What's the
Buffalo.
number?
It's 7.5.
Yes,
Wait,
sir.
so what number are we so you're talking about plus points? What are you talking about? Straight up?
Yeah, straight up.
Straight
Broncos
up money
win.
line?
So money line's going to be what? Plus 240?
Yeah,
Let's
let's
Joel
see.
look it up.
295.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, either way, you'll be getting a call.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mark's my next door neighbor.
300.
And Joel lives right down the street.
Yeah.
You've been watching us, Joel,
Yo.
Mark,
Hey.
me, Todd Bass, and this is Gambler's Hub. Take what you want from it. You will make money over time listening to us. Again, we're at about 68.9% accuracy in our picks. You guys have a good one. We'll see you next Friday.
See ya.
Peace out.